Hi, I'm Miss Haley with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, and today I'm going to show you how to make a 3D paper Easter egg. This craft is fairly simple, but I recommend it for elementary school age children, and tweens and teens as well can probably do this on their own. Today you'll need scissors, a pencil, a glue stick, some string or twine, a candle or a glass. I have a candle today, but a glass would work as well to be able to trace something that is circular. 4 different sheets of scrapbook paper. This is, again, thinner scrapbook paper, but a thicker cardstock would work for this as well. And a piece of brown craft paper or cardstock or any really scrap cardstock that you have. It does not have to be brown. So to start today, what we're going to do is set some of this stuff aside. We're going to actually need our candle and set our papers aside. We don't need that right now. You can see I've already used some of this scrapbook paper. So we're going to start with our piece of scrap cardstock. And we are going to trace somewhere down near the bottom our candle. It could also, like I said, be a glass. My candle's width, diameter is about 3.25 inches. So that's about the size you want, and that's about the size of a drinking glass. So you are going to trace the circle all the way around and set that aside. You don't need that anymore. We're done with that guy. So now what you want is a ruler. I don't know if I mentioned that in the beginning, but you do need a ruler. And hopefully you have a normal ruler, not one like this, but this one works just as well. So you want to measure from about the center of your circle up to about 4.5 inches. You could go a little more. You could go to 5 if you want, depending on how big you want your egg to be. But you don't want to go too much more than right there. So you're going to make a little bit of a mark. And I'm going to extend that past so that it's more centered. And now we're going to draw our egg template. And this is what we're going to use to trace out all the eggs that we're going to need to cut out for this craft. And to draw an egg template, you want your base to be thicker than you want your top to be. An egg is not a perfect oval, so we want that sort of tapered look. So I'm just going to start drawing. I'm going to meet at this side and up here at the point. I'm going to just start drawing a line that curves down to the side. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and y'all can see, or maybe you can't, I'll get it closer. Not really perfect, but that's okay. And I'm gonna adjust that. I think this side is a little weird, not really very eggy looking. Get those sides to be a little bit more close to what I'm looking for. And then you're gonna cut this guy out of your cardstock, and this is going to be our egg template. Some of my other crafts that I'll be doing, I will have templates uploaded for you guys, but I do not have one for this, so I wanted to show you how to create one. It's super, super quick and easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scrapbook paper. You guys can see I've already cut out some of this. And you are going to trace your egg template in one corner. So put it in the corner, and you're going to trace it twice because we need 8 total eggs and we have 4 sheets of paper. You can do however many eggs you want. You could do 6, so you'd only need 3 sheets of paper. You could do 10, and you need 5 sheets of paper. Or you could do 6, 8, or 10 of all one type of paper, however many you could fit in there. It does not have to be different pieces of paper. I just like that look. I think it's a little bit more Eastery. So you're going to trace that, hold it down with one hand, and move that hand around. I see a lot of times people will have trouble tracing because they're trying to lift up and move to adjust, but it actually works a lot better if you trace one side, move your hand, trace up here, and then come down. That way your egg has never moved, your template has never moved, and you have a clean line. And you can see even I didn't get a perfectly clean line. I have some little squiggle here. Now when you're tracing on your scrapbook paper, if it has double sides, you always want to trace on the side that you are not going to be using face out. So obviously I'm using my colored side face out. I'm going to trace on my white side. And that's just so that you don't have pencil marks showing up. You also don't want to, I see a lot of people try this as a shortcut. They'll put their template there and then they'll try to cut around it. And that is not going to work out very well for you. What happens when you do that is you get weird cuts. You don't get even egg shapes. They're not all the same. And you wind up cutting into your template a little bit so each one gets progressively smaller. So don't do that. So you're going to trace that and you're going to trace it twice onto each sheet of paper. And when you're done tracing onto each of your 4 sheets of paper, you'll cut them out and you will have 8 egg shapes. I already cut mine out, that's why there were cuts in those papers. I cut them out so that you didn't have to sit there and watch me cut out a bunch of stuff, because that's kind of boring. So I have 2 of each type of egg, as you guys can see. And what you're going to want to do is fold them in half. So you're going to take your eggs and you're going to fold them in half. You want that crease to be pretty firm. So don't forget to press on that crease. Don't just fold it, but press on there. And you can see I've already sort of started folding these guys. And you'll set them aside. And you're going to do this for all of your eggs so that all of your eggs are folded in half. Because we made our own template, we didn't get one online or anything. It's not probably perfectly symmetrical. Maybe yours is. Maybe you're fabulous. But mine is not. So you can see that it does not perfectly fold in half, and that is okay. If you really care about that, when we're done with this project, you can trim your egg so that that does not show, or you can leave it. I'm a fan of leaving it. I tend not to care about that. But that is up to you. If tracing or creating your own template is something you'd rather not do, you can go online and just find an egg shape and print it out. You want it to be about 4.5 inches tall and 3.25 inches wide. And you can totally just print one out and cut it out and use that as well. That is entirely up to you. There's no real right way to do that. So once you have all your eggs, you're going to decide what order you're going to put them in together. So I don't want to put 2 of the same pieces of paper right next to each other. What we're going to be making, we're going to be gluing these together like that. So like that. And it will go all the way around with all of our pieces so that they'll be side by side like that. I don't want, on my egg, for them to have the same ones touching. That is entirely up to you though. But I'm going to do a slightly more random pattern. I think we'll alternate. We'll do that. It's not entirely random. There's a pattern to that, but that's okay. So we're going to put it down like this, and you're going to take your glue stick, and you're going to put glue all over one side of this, and I do mean all over. You don't want like a little glue. You don't want like a stripe. That's not enough glue. It's not going to stay stuck together. You're going to glue all over your page. You don't want it goopy. You don't want like chunks of glue on there, but you want it to have plenty. And then you're going to take your other egg and you're going to lay it down on there. Make sure you've got the right ends together. I like to match up my edge of my fold. So see how my folded edge is coming together right there? More or less, maybe a little less. And then you have, so now you'll have 2 eggs glued together. So you're going to keep it laying flat and you're just going to keep doing this. So you're going to add your glue. And you're going to lay down, turn it this way so I can see that edge a little bit better. Lay down the next egg. Ooh, that is not good. You can peel it off if you get it lined up weirdly, like I just did, you can peel it off and line it up a little bit better. Until it dries, glue is pretty forgiving. And you'll just keep layering and keep stacking and keep getting glue all over your table until you're done. Speaking of getting glue on your table, I do recommend that you put down a table covering if you're using like a wooden table or something. You might not want to get glue on that, or your parents might not want you to get glue on that. I don't know, but some newspaper or something down on there wouldn't hurt anybody. I obviously have not done this. I don't follow my own advice. More glue. Keep layering. I'm going to do this for all 8 pieces. You're going to have just this big egg stack, or half egg stack, I guess. It's more of a half. In our last one, we are going to layer on there. So now you have one big egg stack of all of your cutout papers. We're going to set that aside because now what we want to do is take our twine or string. It really doesn't matter what you guys use. You can use anything you want. And we are going to cut it so that we can hang this guy up. So we want it to be at least as long as our egg. I'm going to leave a little tail because I'm going to tie a knot in it so it can't pull out quite as easily. We're just going to glue this guy in there. So he's not going to be in there really strong. You could use hot glue for this as well, and it would probably stay in there a little bit better, but it is not necessary to use hot glue for this. And then you want it a little bit longer. Now, if you want to hang this up from something really high and have it dangle down really low, you might want a really long string, or you might want a short string. Mine is probably just going to hang in my window, so I don't need a hugely long string. But we do want it to be double. So if you guys can see here, I've taken it all the way down here, and I've looped it down and brought it back around, and I'm going to cut it right there. Not super precise, just whatever length of string you want, but you want a double string. Whoops. There we go, so we see our loop. You're going to take your 2 ends and bring them together like that, and you're going to tie them into knots. So hold them in there, wrap them around your finger so that you have a loop. Push that end through your loop and pull. And I'm actually going to do that a couple of times. I want a thick knot. I really don't want a chance that that's going to slip out the center of my egg. So I did that about 3 times till I got a nice thick knot. And what you're going to do is you're going to open your egg up so that it's like that. So what I've done, so you guys can see, is I've just pulled one flap around. So it's one egg sitting on its bottom and the rest are still stacked up to the side. So you're going to stack it like that. Put your string right there in the center, and you're going to put glue all over. So we're going to get glue on our string. We're going to get glue everywhere. If you have to move your string out of the way to get some glue down, that's fine too. I'm going to put a little on this side too, just for good measure. We're going to close that up. Make sure you guys close your glue sticks all the way. A lot of times people just put the cap on, put it on until it snaps. It will dry out, and then we won't have fun anymore. I'm going to turn this around, and then you're just going to flap that flaps together. Make sure you push your string into that fold. You really want it in there pretty good. It's going to feel pretty damp. It's going to feel pretty flexible, and that's okay. That's just the glue in there, but you should have your string in there now. And if you want, you can trim off your little ends there. Don't trim off your knot, though. Remember, that knot is there to keep us from being able to pull. Oop, you see? I pulled on it. Pull that string out. So now what you want to do is you want to start opening up these other folds. Don't peel them apart. You don't want to do that accidentally. But there is definitely more than one here. Come on now. Come on. You might have some stubborn ones that don't want to come apart because we've got a lot of glue on there, and that's okay. But you're going to pull them apart like that, fan them out, and what you have now is a 3D Easter egg. Super duper simple. Now, if it bothers you, if say you have things like this, where there's white showing over the edge, you can very easily trim that off just using your scissors. Try to keep the egg shape going. You don't want to trim off a whole chunk of your egg. And you can do that so that you get only the color that you want showing through. That is fine if you want to do that. But that is our 3D egg craft. Make sure you fan them back out once you've done that. They're going to get kind of folded up. And that is our 3D Easter egg craft. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope I see you again for some fun crafts soon. Thank you.